Hey guys, welcome back to This is Epic. Thank you for joining us again. And let's begin with our first story. Once there was a king named Pareekshita. He was the grandson of Arjuna and son of Abhimanyu. One day, while on his hunting trip, he comes across Rishi Shamika's ashram. He decides to visit the ashram, but unlike all his other visits anywhere, no one came to greet him at the entrance, nor was there any grand welcome. As he walks into the ashram, he realizes that none of the inhabitants of the ashram, except Rishi Shamika, was at the ashram that day. Rishi Shamika, however, was in a deep meditative state and was not aware that his king was standing in front of him. Pareekshita was offended by the lack of respect shown and decided to teach Shamika a lesson. As he looks around, he finds a dead snake lying on the ground, which he picks up with a stick and wraps around Shamika's neck before leaving the ashram. Some time passes and Shamika's son Shringi comes to the ashram to find a dead snake around his meditating father's neck. He's very angry that someone has dared to insult his father this way and curses, saying, "He who has insulted my father by wrapping a dead snake around his neck shall die within 7 days because of a snake bite." Shamika wakes up from his meditative state. Using his spiritual powers, he was able to understand what occurred, and he says to Shringi, "What have you done? It was King Pareekshita who was here, and that now you have to go to him and inform him of the curse so that he can at least be prepared for his death." Shringi goes to the palace and informs Pareekshita, and Pareekshita tightens the security around the palace and spends all his time listening to stories. 6 days pass, and on the 7th day, Pareekshita dies because of a snake bite. News of Pareekshita's death reaches his son, Prince Janamejaya. In his grief, Janamejaya takes an oath to put an end to the serpent species for being responsible for his father's death. After completing Pareekshita's last rites, Janamejaya decides to perform a yaga named Sarpayaga and to kill all the snakes. The yaga begins and snakes start dying by the thousands. It gets to a point where hardly any snakes are left on the planet, and at this point a very wise sage named Jaratkaru sends his son Astika Muni to speak to Janamejaya and to convince him to put an end to the yaga at once. Astika Muni has been described as someone with a very powerful presence and a charismatic personality. He speaks to Janamejaya and Janamejaya agrees to put an end to the yaga. Slowly, Janamejaya realizes that what he did by killing lakhs of innocent creatures was wrong. So he speaks to his advisors and asks them to find out if there is any way for him to nullify all this bad karma. So the sages start looking through the Vedas and all the scriptures only to find that there are no yagas or no practices and penances that can free Janamejaya from this, except to listen to the narration of the epic Mahabharata. Once Janamejaya learns of this, he appoints Muni Vaishampayana as the narrator. The end of this episode, guys. I will continue the story in the next. Do hit the like button, share with your friends, click the bell icon to be notified of new episodes. See you soon.